All right. We're we're not gonna redo it. You done ruined it. So you know what? It's just gonna stay here forever. We're gonna save it to the VOD.
Should I flush or close the door?
The bad thing, well, they couldn't hear me because I was muted, but they could hear you two talking about. We are a very professional podcast that talks about all things spooky, and sometimes we like to fancy ourselves as wannabe historians, but we are live at the Blood Brothers talking about Appalachian folklore. I'm not sure if John or me picked this. I can't remember.
I think you did.
I think it might have been me. Mm-hmm. But I think John does have a few stories tonight, but I'm not going to hand it away right now. But I did want to go ahead and just mention the fact that we are all Michael is an Appalachian transplant. Oh God, this is off to a great start. Michael is not an Appalachian trans person, but an Appalachian transplant.
He's a transplant. He used to identify as male, and now he identifies as fern.
Yes, yeah, where the red fern grows. Was that in Appalachia? Oh man, that was great. This is off to an awesome start.
I went from a redneck to a hillbilly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what? No, I think is a Texan considered a redneck?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I think so. Just, I mean, that's the thing is that it's kind of colloquially around here. A redneck and a hillbilly kind of tend to. People seem to think it's the same thing, and it's not.
No, that's true.
My friend Ricky, he goes, "Hey man, so is Texas or Tennessee more hicker?"
Hicker.
Oh man.
I said more hicker. He said, "Oh hell."
Oh hell. Was it raise hell, praise Dale?
Yeah.
All right. So what were we talking about? Appalachian folklore. Yeah. So, well, so I was born in Maryland, which is actually a part of Appalachia. I've been doing a little bit of research here lately, and I was actually pretty shocked about the general range of Appalachia itself. Just seeing how far it actually stretches, and a lot of people have this preconceived misconception of where I can't use those words because we're Appalachian, but speak normal. But the range of Appalachia actually stretches, which I have it pulled up right here, from New York all the way to Mississippi. So it's actually pretty massive. And I know that the mountain range itself, actually, I think what we were looking on there too, the mountain range actually I think goes all the way up to Maine, which is insane to me. But the actual Appalachian region covers New York to Mississippi, and I really didn't. I thought whenever I left Tennessee, I was basically out of Appalachia, but I live in North Georgia now, and which is still, it's beautiful mountains out here. The Blue Ridge Mountains are awesome. A lot of Bigfoot sightings. Bigfoot's kind of like worshipped in Georgia, and then you have middle, and then the region goes all the way to middle Alabama, which really, really surprised me on that too. So yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about Appalachian folklore, where it comes from, what, why it's still so relevant today. So Wasabi, hello. J-Man Quest, hello. Welcome to the chat. Glad you all could join. We're getting a late start tonight, but hey, we're actually starting after a month of being out of the game a little bit.
Well, you know what I say, better late than pregnant.
Well, it depends.
Sorry, that's what I've
So-
been saying lately. My son's been a terror.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
It's all right. It's okay.
So, yeah. Two fathers, and then you have me, who's just a hot, hot, hot wife without
You're a hot,
childless,
hot-hearted.
child-free wife. That's what I am.
Look, now listen. We're not defined by our children, only by our deeds.
Yep. Well, I have no legacy. So, Appalachian folklore. What are we talking about tonight? So, did we want to start with where it comes from? Did we want to start about with some stories, or does anybody?
I think that'd be good. I think talk about starting
True.
where it comes from, or at least some of the kind of history. I think, but
Yeah.
kind of building on what.
So, whenever we talk about, so what I like about it too is that there's also this other thing too, that it's only primarily, Southern people, and we're pretty protective over that, especially in the South. And I guess with good reason, but a lot of where Appalachia comes from, though, as far as the folklore, is really a lot of Welsh folklore and a lot of English folklore, and a lot of that stuff just kind of got transferred over.
A lot of Irish and Scottish.
A lot of Irish too. Yeah, a lot of Irish and Scottish. Let's see here. So, if we look at that, Appalachian folklore is a blend of superstitions, legends, ghost stories, and folk practices that originated from the diverse cultures and religions of the people who settled in the Appalachian Mountains. Whenever I was thinking about that too, I was like, in a lot of places in America, North America, you don't really. Every place has a story, but I really feel like the Appalachian region is so dense with legend and so dense with beliefs. And we've kind of talked about it previously, even just as recently as last year, whenever I had my cattywampus experience, where a group of people completely out of nowhere knew exactly what to do if they saw a wampus cat, which actually was just a tiny little black cat. So it's really shocking to see that it's still so thick and relevant today, and especially whenever you get out in those more mountain regions. And then you think about like a place like Pennsylvania, because whenever I was thinking about that, I was like, well, you don't really hear a lot like out west, and I'm not saying that there's not things there, but you don't really hear it as abundantly as you would in the Appalachian Mountains. But then I started thinking, well, I was like, well, Pennsylvania has tons of stories, and especially with the Salem witch trials and just the witch lore in general, and then kind of the panic with the devil and possessions, all during that time. It really shocked me whenever I looked it up on the Appalachian Range that they actually fell into Appalachia too, which ended up making a lot of sense, because I said, oh well, maybe to me Appalachia is such a place of just strange, weird whimsy.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Sorry, my AI is acting. Stop it, AI. AI's taking over my over my chat.
I just always call it, hey.
Hey, I.
No, that's too ego for me. I just say, hey.
Yeah.
Have you been searching for rings lately?
No, I haven't. So, I've only been married once. I don't plan on doing it again. But
that doesn't mean you can't buy rings.
I got fat fingers.
So, a more expensive ring?
But if we look at the Moonlit Road, Appalachian ghost stories serve as vessels of mountain folklore, culture, and values stretching back generations, often taking the forms of legends, which, really that's kind of one thing I touched on just a second ago, is we are so steeped in legends. And I really feel like no matter where you go within the Appalachian Range, you're always going to find a story. And that's what I love about it so much, too. Let's see, there was something on here talking about Smoky Mountains. Oh, give me what I want. Let's see. What is Appalachian culture? Common hillbilly stereotypes depict Appalachian culture as poor and white. However, early Appalachian settlers included Native Americans, newly arrived European whites, and Africans, all living in close proximity. Native American tribes in Appalachia had their own unique cultures and oral folk traditions. In southern Appalachia, the most prominent group of native peoples was the Cherokee Nation. Like other tribes, the Cherokee made sense of both the visible and unseen worlds around them through song and storytelling. And if that's not the truth, too, is, you know, you look at all like the sheer amount of poetry and music and art and culture, and I would say probably, you know, primarily the southern culture has with it too, you know, and I know that the South gets a pretty bad rep, but I mean, I would say we're probably in the most culturally diverse place, because I mean, I think it all stems from us, you know, at least an American heritage. Yeah. You know, so again, you know, if you are from the outside looking in, we probably look fucking crazy. We are, but you should come check it out.
Yeah, you'll like the crazy.
You'll like the crazy. So it's and you know, and I would say Southern charm and manners are definitely a real thing. You know, I think it only takes a few bad things to happen to really, you know, set the tone for the days going forward. But I really always encourage people. I was actually listening to a podcast few months back, and it was actually this girl, and she was from the Northwest, and she made this comment of she was a clairvoyant, and she was talking about how she was going down there to study, you know, Southern culture and Appalachian culture, and one of the things that she said was there was a veil, you know, over the entire southern region, and I felt like I had to be invited in, and you know, and I wasn't, you know, and as I went there, people looked at me like I was strange, and all I could think was, well, yeah, because you're acting really weird, and they're probably looking at you going, bless your heart, you know.
Yeah.
That's probably, there was no mystery veil, you know. It's just, you know, you're a strange Western person.
Let's point out that if a Southerner ever says "bless your heart," it is not a good thing.
There's so many different ways of saying. I say bless your heart like all the time. Like, you know, there's like bless his heart or bless your heart, or you know,
yeah, but it's like, oh, bless your heart.
Bless your heart. I'm usually saying that you're stupid.
Inflection.
You know,
it's inflection.
Go ahead.
I was just half the time it's not good. Not all the time.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
It depends on the circumstance and the inflection, but.
So, for example, the eerie mountain mist creeping through areas like the Great Smoky Mountains was a particular significance to them. Famous Appalachian ghost stories like the Brown Mountain Lights, which I actually wanted to touch on tonight, are thought to be of Cherokee origin. But Native American life changed dramatically with the arrival of European settlers. First, Spanish and French explorers pushed into Appalachia as early as the 1500s, followed by immigrants from the British Isles. Clannish and fiercely independent, these settlers had rebelled against restrictive laws back home. Consequently, they sought a place where the Protestant beliefs could flourish without interference. So, but you know, that's a pretty good point too, is how we're just kind of a big melting pot, you know, and it's just all these different stories. Well, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you always hear about, and I hear Christy talking about this too, or like fairy rings, and you know, we have a fairy ring that grows in our backyard, and don't touch it, don't go in it, don't move it, you know, and so steeped in but you know, fae people and fairies, you know, that was very much an Irish, Welsh, Scottish thing, you know, and they still firmly believe in the fae people over there in that area, you know. So I mean, you just see a lot of, I think it's so cool how you have this, you basically have Cherokee beliefs and folklore mixing with essentially like Eurocentric and United Kingdom folklore, you know. So, but you know, they even talk about like, you know, and I would wonder just with like Vikings and stuff like that too, and Anglo-Saxons that were traveling. I wonder how much we actually got folklore from that too. So it's just amazing to think about. So whenever I say Appalachian folklore, I mean, I really don't think that there's anything quite like it. If you go like to any other part of the country. But yeah, it's really strange, you know, and I thought it was funny that basically, everything West Virginia wise is all Appalachian Mountains. So that explains a lot of why I had such a strange time in West Virginia. I still need to upload those pictures to our Discord too. So, and by the way, Appalachia, it's not Appalachia. What is it? If you say Appalachia, I'm going to throw an Appalachia. So, yeah.
And Wiki says that started in the north, and at the Appalachian Trail organizations in New England. They popularized the occasional use of the sh sound for the ch sound. I don't know why. It makes absolutely no reason. Because it's what they're based on is it uses the ch sound. So I don't. It was actually like, well, it says that members of the Narvaez expedition found a village of indigenous people near present-day Tallahassee, whose name they transcribed as Appalachian or Appalachian with a CH, and it was soon altered by the Spanish to Apalche or Appalachie. And they're like, in Spanish, CH does not make a sh sound. So, sorry, they're wrong. They can say it wrong all they want to, but that doesn't mean they're right.
Yeah, no, that's true. If we're telling you how to say, well, you know, I always remember going to Lafayette, Georgia, and whenever I went there, I said Lafayette, and man, you talk about getting pissed. They're like, it's Lafayette.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like you do not call it Lafayette, Georgia. It's Lafayette.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad I knew that. I'm glad you taught me that because I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If only others would be so accepting. Just, oh, okay, you're from there, so that must be true.
Well, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think if you go there and the mass population of that region is telling you, no, that's not the way we say it, I think you need to be somewhat respectful. I actually had a coworker. He was from Wisconsin, and he would always say, it's Appalachia. Oh, no, dumbass. It's Appalachia. But, all right. So, Michael, you said you heard something about what about a knife?
Yeah, when I moved here, some of the things that people would tell me, a little superstition. And if you ever find a knife, right, don't take it. Just leave it.
So was that like native to? Did you only hear that in Kingsport, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it.
Ever find a knife? Was there a superstition to it?
Now, hold on, Bloomingdale. That's a different story.
Now Bloomingdale's a different part of the world, I think.
that could just mean it might have been used in a crime.
Yeah.
You should have led with that, buddy.
Let's see here. All superstition actually came up. Let's see here. If you drop a knife, someone else must pick it up, is what comes up.
Well, this one's if you find a knife, don't take it.
If you ever find a knife, don't take it. What should I do if I ever find a knife in the street? Let's see here.
Is that Detroit?
26 knife superstitions. No, I don't know if that's right. Yeah, I don't see anything about that. I would.
Hey, that doesn't mean there's not.
I mean, there's definitely a good example there. I mean, I don't think that you should pick up a knife that's that quite in Bloomingdale was quite possibly used in a crime. So yeah, I don't know.
Some other ones I learned.
Okay,
It's
so
driving by cemetery.
well, so here it is. So knife superstition is the first thing. Is it bad luck to give a knife as a gift? Yes, gifting knives is bad luck. It depends on if this is culturally relevant superstition to you or not. The reason this knife gift superstition exists is that a knife is seen as a symbol for severing friendships or relationships. So that could be something that we could say got steeped in it.
It could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
If somebody, I guess it would be interesting to say if somebody lost a knife, maybe they severed something from their life, and if someone comes along and picks that up, it might attach to them.
Yeah. I'd be curious. Who told you that, Michael? Was it like
Oh, it was
Was it the murderer?
His name was James, and I think it was James Freeman was his name, and he was a strange character.
Yeah.
So very, very country boy. It was at the Christian school that I went to when I moved here. So he called me Tex. That's what he called me.
I don't know. Did you all ever hear about the Christy told me about this one, and I guess her dad told her about it, but I want to say it's somewhere over in Bloomingdale or somewhere over in that area, and it's like a headless goat that has bees flying out of its neck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The thing is, I don't really know a lot about it.
Was it Skelton Bluff?
Yeah, that's it. It's Skelton Bluff. You're exactly right.
Skelton Bluff goat.
Yep.
Let's see here. Bluff goat Kingsport TN. Well, this is Kingsport to do. This is Kingsport, Tennessee. Things to do, stories to tell. The goats of Kingsport.
Oh my God, the goats of Kingsport.
Yeah, that's weird though because I'm not finding anything about that. Skelton Bluff headless goat.
Yeah, I've heard about it, but I couldn't find anything about it either.
Let's see here. The long one. Are the other two guys hot too? They're way hotter than me. Way hotter than me. I don't know.
Oh my God.
So,
no.
Yeah. So, way hotter.
I'm definitely not. I've been married a long time, and I've let myself go.
No. He is 100% grade A beef. So, all right.
Grade A is in real monster.
Gonna make me blush. Let's see here. Well, the only thing that's coming up though is the mystery of the headless goats in Chattahoochee. Wow. Okay, so that's Metro Atlantis. We don't talk about that in case there's a trigger warning. I can definitely hear it in their voices. That southern twang. So
I don't see anything about it either. It must honestly be like a local thing.
I don't see anything about it either. But yeah, for sure. That's that's a lot of weird stuff. But that also comes down to, let's see here. Well, Santeria. That's actually what I was just getting ready to say. So we won't really get into that. We don't really want to show anything that we shouldn't or don't want to. But yeah, so I guess the way it goes is that you can be driving through Skelton Bluff, and if Christy's in the chat, it would be great if she could contribute to that a little bit. She knows a lot more about it than I do. Her dad claims that he saw something like that, but I guess if you're driving through Skelton Bluff, you will see a headless goat with bees flying out of its neck, and I think it just stands there. I don't think it does anything. So I mean, but Kingsport's is such a weird place. Wasps. Okay, yeah.
Wasps. They're way worse than bees.
Yeah. So wasps. Christy, do you know anything? That could you elaborate any more about that or anything? So she's free to join the Discord too. So
Just drive by it.
But of course, if you talk about Kingsport, I mean, and just for perspective, I lived in Kingsport with these guys for many years, and I think John and I are going to try to set up a live thing over there, and then maybe do some recordings and stuff if Michael has time to join us. But it's just such a weird, creepy little town, and I've always told people it's almost like Twin Peaks, in a way of on how creepy it is. There's a lot of weird stuff, if you talk about like Sensible Tunnel.
I was hoping you were going to bring
Yeah,
that up. We have to talk about that.
Yeah, Sensible Tunnel is like probably, if I had to guess, I would say it's probably the most famous thing to talk about in Kingsport, Tennessee, and I think it's been featured on a few shows.
Oh my God! They have a link on their website for it, kingsport10.gov.
Oh my gosh, Sensible Tunnel, really?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
on their government website.
All right, wow.
This is actually legit. Like it's real.
Let's see. Christy says that they have never been able to find anything else about the goat, just eyewitness accounts. That could be something that we could probably check out, though, just drive through. I know for a fact that Michael and I and Christy drove on Skeleton Bluff one night to try to see if we could see it. It was just I remember it being a really foggy night, though. Just a really creepy.
At the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Are they like hornets? I would assume that they're just playing wasps.
I mean, wasps are similar to hornets, yellow jackets.
Let's see here. Kingsport Sensible Tunnel. Probably spelling it wrong. Let's see here. Yeah, first thing, kingsport.gov, Sensible Tunnel. So I like how it says, we're right here in October. So happy Halloween! We saved the best legend for last. Today, I'm a goner. Our ghostly friend is visiting the infamous Sensible Tunnel and learning about its spooky legend. Sensible Tunnel... Go ahead.
You see the ghost in the picture?
Yeah.
I thought it was a rock at first. I see the ghost.
Sensible Tunnel is a Sensible Tunnel is a nationally recognized urban legend from Kingsport. Here are the 3 different tales of everyone's favorite creepy tunnel, which is good because it's crazy. Because the story is always evolving, it's always changing. Before I read it, I'm just going to tell you how I know it is that what was it? And you guys can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like a husband killed his wife and drowned the baby. By the way, trigger warnings galore here, but drowned the baby in the creek in the tunnel. Is that correct? And when you go in there and you turn on all the lights, you can hear like the crying and voices and stuff.
What I heard was, Mikey, you go first, being the transplant.
Well, no. I was just going to make. Remember, there's a distinction. There's 2 tunnels that people talk about.
There are.
Yeah.
There are. But
that's a good point. That's a very good point. There are 2 tunnels if you go through there, but So go ahead, John.
No, the one that I heard was that they let a guy in, the Sensibles, who have a plantation house right past the tunnel, the one that you can drive through. They let a guy in and they gave him hospitality, and he turned out to be a thief, and he stole a bunch of their belongings and also stole their child for a hostage to get away. And once he got far enough away, he drowned the child in the actual Sensible Tunnel, which is about a quarter to half a mile up the road from the drive-through one, and that's the one that you can actually walk through, and it's very creepy tunnel. Yeah.
It's been so sensationalized, in Kingsport, in the Kingsport region. I'm trying to remember. Was it Taps that they actually were on, like that show where they proved that ghosts aren't real or something like that, or it's like fake?
Sure.
I wanted to say that. Yeah, it was on some national show, but it wasn't that long ago. But it's obviously, we've talked about like the energy of things and having such an attachment and attraction to it. With Sensible Tunnel, it's weird. I mean, it's weird, because you go in there, there's all like the spray painting, and you have the water running through. Now, if you have one tunnel, there is no real way to drive through it. You basically have to have you don't. I want if you're a low riding car, don't go into it. But I guess you can also put like powder or something like that on there, and you'll see handprints if you go in there, or sometimes that's what happens. What I've heard, but was it you and me, or was it Michael and I that went in there, and then those rednecks actually drove in there? I think it was.
I was. Yeah, that happened with us.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is though, is we went in there and we turned out all the lights, and we stood there for however long trying to hear something. Well, then all of a sudden we see these lights come on, and these rednecks in a giant pickup truck come driving in there to scare us, and we just started laughing. And the funny thing is, though, is we actually ended up getting along really well with them, and we had a pretty good time.
I think there was a couple of times. Was there one time where we went with Brandy too? And
I think that was the same night. Night because I remember we had Matt Williams with us, and he was scared shitless of the rednecks, and he was like, "I thought I was going to get killed," And but
there was one time where we went to the end of the tunnel to try to spook people, and you spooked yourself somehow.
I spooked myself.
Yeah, I think so.
Huh?
Unless it was someone else, but yeah.
That could have happened. I don't know. That could have happened.
I don't remember being there for that.
No, I don't think that you there. It was because I think that same night we went to Skeleton Bluff, we went to Sensabal Tunnel, and then you showed us where the vehicle gets pushed.
Yeah, I was there that night.
Okay. Well, you might have been there that night.
Maybe I was there that night. I'm on Google Maps. I'm trying to actually find the actual tunnel. I could pick the location of it, but honestly, you know what? It's crazy. Google has removed it. You can't find it.
Huh? Well, I wonder if it's just because so many people go there. And they're trying to
maybe.
Yeah.
But it's on King Sports website.
Yeah. I don't know.
But honestly, if you pull up Google Maps and you go to Kingsport and you find the Big Elm Road and Trambarger Road, there is literally a stretch of it from Big Elm Road, from where Trambarger Road begins, all the way out to past the tunnel that is, you can't put like the little person on to see the road view.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Whenever you go in there, though.
I did find it. I found it.
Okay, cool. Whenever you go in there, whether you go in the tunnel that you actually drive through or the tunnel that you can't drive through, there's water running through both of them. One's fairly heavy with water, and you have to stay on the side, otherwise you'll be wading in it. When you turn out all the lights and everything, your mind will probably play tricks on you, because what you're hearing, usually what sounds kind of like voices, is the water bubbling and moving. That's typically, and that's how I perceived it. I may have gotten spooked. I can't remember, but
I sent the link in the
Discord.
In the Discord chat. If you want to check it out, it should pull up right to you're looking at it right off Big Elm Road.
Are you in Town Gossip or?
I'm just in the chat for the Blood Brothers private voice.
Wasn't one of us trying to do like the whole flash thing? They brought a flash camera and was trying to capture things.
Yeah, you're right. Was that Brandy?
It may have been, but
yeah,
something like that happened. And you were goofing off and got spooked somehow.
Yeah. Let's see. We got some long one. Welcome to the chat. We got Survival Amazon, perfect timing. Welcome to the chat. So I'm trying to. I think what we did, we took pictures that night. We need to get with Bran and see if we can see if they still have that. Hello, I just saw your Facebook post. I like Spoopy. I'm glad that you like Spoopy. I'm glad that you're in here. So
Spoopy fun.
Yeah, and also thank you for following us. We really appreciate that. We appreciate you all checking us out and hanging out with us too. So right now we're stuck on Sensabal Tunnel, even though we're talking about Appalachian. Well, it falls into Appalachian folklore.
If you go to the Discord and you see our Blood Brothers private voice, there should be a little chat button right next to it. It says open chat. You should be able to get that link because it's a really cool picture actually. You check it out.
Okay, I see it now. Oh, okay, great.
This is the walkthrough one.
Okay. Oh, okay. So this is really neat. We're getting interactive. We're getting really interactive.
You can actually zoom in and you can see the water.
Yeah, actually, Christy went to Sinzabal Tunnel. Went to Sinzabal Tunnel last week while she was there. Yeah.
You should have said something. I would have went with you.
Yeah. I think that she was trying to decompress a little bit. I think, but I like how she went to go meditate in a haunted tunnel. But
yes.
So, let's see here. Happy to follow. Thank you. The accents are a plus. Well, I'm glad that you like our accents.
Yeah.
Yep, and the long one likes the accents too. So thank you. All right, so let's check out Sinzabal Tunnel. Let's see here. So so if you see right here, this right here is actually John. This is an excellent find. Thank you.
I know. Yes.
So if you look right here, this is where this is not the drive-through tunnel. I'm not sure if I don't think you can zoom in right there.
Yeah. Use your scroll wheel.
Okay.
And then just move your mouse cursor up so you don't see the little arrow.
Yeah. So this right here is where you would actually drive through Sinzabal Tunnel. And
no, you walk through this one.
Sorry. You would walk through this one. So basically, you can drive into it. You can, because I think we did, because I think at the time we had that SUV. So we did drive.
God, you're right. I remember that.
Yeah. We did drive in there. And the water comes up fairly high, and so if it's been raining really hard, you might as well hang it up. But if you can see on there, on like the left side, there's the smallest walkway, and if you go back there, it's just nothing but woods. This right here is supposedly the true tunnel that they talk about. Did we walk in that dirty water? Yeah, we did.
we threw rocks in that dirty water.
Yeah. So, but that is what they call the true haunted tunnel. That's up for debate, really. But whenever we went in there, we turned out all the lights, and I think we all freaked each other out, for the most part, because we all claimed to hear voices. It was really probably the water bubbling. There was also another time whenever we had, like I said, a large pickup truck drive through to scare the hell out of us, and it actually ended up not being, we actually ended up having a really good time with them.
I remember that now that you say that.
Yep. Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
So
they were real nice folks.
They were actually really nice. They were
there for a good time too.
Yep.
They were drinking beer.
They were. We were all probably underage. So I'm trying to see, am I going the right way?
I'm doing the same thing you're doing. I'm trying to see if we can get there, but I feel like
they may have. I recognize the house and everything too. Do you go late at night? You absolutely go late at night. I think whenever we went, it was probably pushing midnight. I don't think back then we were way younger.
Oh my gosh.
So it would probably kill me now to stay up past 12 o'clock to go there.
Yeah. So actually, when you get to the end of the road where you have to turn left to go onto Trambarger, there's a construction. There's like two big construction trucks there, and it's like there's some road cones. So that's why the Google bus didn't go up there.
Trying to see. I was going to say, if you know the actual address, I could probably punch it in.
I don't know the actual address, but
rather than having to go through all that.
I'm looking at the.
So is
okay, here's hold on. They got. Let's see. Well, there's a link for Sinzabal Tunnel. Hold on. Can I copy it?
Yeah. So that's actually good to know.
That didn't work.
Let's see if we can get back to the Kingsport Gov. Okay, so if we're going by and it's crazy that this is actually on the Kingsport, government website. But yeah, Sinzabal Tunnel is on there. Let's see here. In one version of this legend, Edward led a homeless man into his home as an act of charity. Their guest tried to steal jewelry, and Edward confronted him with a gun. The thief grabbed Edward's baby daughter to use as a shield and ran out of the house. He got away and drowned the baby in the tunnel. In a second version of the legend, Edward Sensible went mad. That's the one that I knew. Edward Sensible went mad and killed his entire family and threw their bodies into the tunnel. But in the third version, that some claim is the most accurate, Edward Sensible lived into his old age, not dying till the 1950s, and had none of his children die as babies. By the time Edward grew old, vandals and teens had taken to using the tunnel for their fun. Edward wasn't happy about it, so he would hide at the end of the tunnel and fill it with an eerie shriek, scaring off anyone hiding inside, thus beginning the legend of Sensible Tunnel, which
I've heard all three. Yeah.
I had actually.
That's probably true, but
So yeah, which that's great. I want to be so old and angry that I create a legend.
Isn't there one too where one of the houses nearby, you drive by it and you can see a person just pacing back and forth near the tunnel?
What's funny though is the version that I heard is that you could hear that you, if you looked at the porch, you would see somebody hanging.
Right.
Yeah. So there's.
I was just always told that if you went by there, you get shot at.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was true too. So it's just amazing because Kingsport has all those kind of small legends and stuff too. Legend has it if you switch off your car engine in the middle of the tunnel, it won't switch back on. Some say you can also hear the baby's cry and approaching footsteps of Edward himself. Some have even claimed when driving through the tunnel, the shadow of a woman appears in your back seat. Are you brave enough to visit the Sensible Tunnel? Well, we're dumb enough. So let's see here. Did you find it, John?
I sent a pic there on. There's no. You can't walk there. There's no. Oh wait, yeah, there is. Shit, hold on. They fixed it. Hold on. Oh yeah, it's on the other side. So, well, it doesn't look creepy in the daytime. Like literally, it starts on the other side of the tunnel, like the map.
Okay.
Like it's on the opposite side, and you can it shows like the house when you drive around it. Hold on.
Okay, so is this the so what am I looking at right here?
The one that's the overhead view because I didn't think I could.
So is this the actual?
I'm getting ready to. I'm copying the link right now, sending it through the front view of the house that's supposedly the where everything happened.
Okay.
You can see the road off to the left.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the Sensible house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
so right there, the White House is the Sensible house.
Yes. And if you keep going to the left, if you go left all the way around, it goes right to the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's
okay. Yeah. So this is it. So.
Yeah.
Excellent work. So yeah, this right here is the drive-through tunnel. So again, there's two different tunnels that you can go through to test out the theory. Again, I think it's all just a sensationalized legend. Because the story, it is a lot of fun, especially being like high school, and honestly, whenever I go up there next, I think we're going to try to go hit that up and probably do a little bit of a live stream and then do some recordings and stuff too, just to kind of see.
Do it.
Not really a firm believer in it, more of a skeptic, but it's definitely fun and worth seeing too. If you can see right there too, there's all this flooding that is constantly going through the tunnel.
Well, it's because there's a stream or a river.
Yeah.
It's flowing water.
Yeah. It's a flowing water.
Yeah.
It comes out on the other side.
But
surprised it hasn't collapsed. Honestly.
Yeah. Oh no, you're right. Man, we're getting stuck on Kingsport, but that's okay. But talking about but this is a really a good example of how folklore within Appalachia continues to be relevant. I think that there's always stories and people take stories and they run with it and they tell. I mean, it's insane that Sensible Tunnel is so nationally known, despite being in Kingsport, Tennessee. And if you talk to anybody in Kingsport, Tennessee, they're like, Kingsport, there's nothing to do. There's plenty to do. You just got to go looking for it. If we talk about it, though, we have, in Kingsport, there's the 5 caves. Do you all know about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has been blocked off now.
Yeah, I think they actually caved all that in there too. Let's see here. I may need to visit Kingsport for this. Yeah. Well, let us know. So I live way up north and heard of it. Cool. That's awesome. So, Christy has a story about five caves. So, Christy, like I said, you're welcome to hop in the Discord. So, tell a story. But so five caves was actually. Let me see if I can pull anything up on that. But there's five caves. There's Rotherwood Mansion. Again, there's there's the Headless Goat, which the Rotherwood Mansion. Do y'all remember that old? There was a show because like they had like the channel on there where you could actually like. It was like public television. There was a ghost show on there, and those guys did Rotherwood Mansion. It was the most ridiculous thing in the world. It was like this guy. He tripped and he goes, "It pushed me."
Oh my god!
So.
Now, the Rotherwood ghost is in that haunted Kingsport book I have.
Oh,
I didn't read into it, but I mean I can if y'all.
So
that's what you prefer.
Well, it's funny though. Is pulled it up Five Caves, Kingsport, Tennessee, and that popped up on Reddit as of November 7th, 2021. So let's see here. I'm looking for, and nobody has responded to it. It looks like. Let's see here. I'm looking for information and history about the Five Caves in Kingsport, Tennessee. They were originally blasted out by the Vulcan Company, mining for limestone, and have since been mostly filled in. I'm assuming they were originally 5 separate openings, hence the name. Is there only one cave left today? Which I think didn't they seal up the last cave?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that they sealed them up.
I was told by a Kingsport native kayaking up the Holston that in one of the caves there was some sort of vehicle or machinery left. Does anyone know how old the caves are and how far back they go from the rock piles? So, the big thing, and we heard it all through high school about five caves, is that it was that there was a lot of practicing of Satanism and witchcraft, and and I'd heard like there just a lot of stuff. But really past that, I didn't really know anything about it. The rumor was that the mayor's son was part of a Satanist cult, found out about it, and so he had the caves blocked off so they couldn't go there anymore. That's what I had heard from it. Do you guys know anything about that, or?
No, I'm not really sure. I ever knew about Five Caves was that's where you went to do some hanky panky.
Well, never heard that. So,
yeah, I'm pretty sure they buried the entire site. They had a bunch of junk and everything there.
Yeah.
I like our cave off Fort Henry. That was a lot more interesting.
Now, what was it?
The cave that we found off Fort Henry.
Oh, okay. So we actually did find a cave. I think I told you guys about that because my dad and I found it. Is that? That's how I'm remembering it. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
I think I told you guys about it. We went up there, so it was right across the street from the Walmart over in Fort Henry Drive. But whenever we went in there,
in front of the loony bin place.
Yeah. Let's see. Wasabi Christie's too shy to hop on tonight. Let's see here.
I remember us going there.
Yeah, we did go there. If you remember, and it may have been my dad, but I'm not sure. But we actually found a bucket of red candles in there.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, we found a bucket of red candles in there. And do you all remember there was somebody in there?
I went in there. I don't remember who was with me, and we didn't go in because we saw someone with candles in there.
That wasn't but the night that we went there, somebody actually asked what we were doing in there, and there was somebody inside the cave. That was the night we found the red candles in there. And I think the funny thing is, though, is we took the bucket of red candles. So
there was also a time we went where somebody had taken stones and made a circle, and it was a circle with just a line right down the middle, and I never knew what that meant.
A circle with a line down the middle.
It's an apparatus to catch Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Circle with line.
What happened was we went down there, and then the mayor's assistant wanted to check on the bucket of candles to make sure they were still there. and because witch or Satanism and devil worship is
Was it like?
it's the go-to blame whenever people
Oh
just
yeah.
want to do anything around these parts. They just it's of the devil.
Well,
They
yeah,
automatically
yeah.
blacklist it.
So Kingsport is. I think they've gotten better, but yeah, there was a time
Yeah.
when you couldn't really do anything without being accused of being a Satanist or a witch.
We're talking about early 2000.
Yeah, early 2000. The 90s were pretty brutal too with that. So, getting a lot of breathing. So.
Sorry, it might be me. I'm moving my mic. I'm getting real excited, guys.
All this talk about Satanism and sacrifice got me going. So, let's see here.
Blood.
So, John, you said you had a story about Rotherwood Mansion, right?
Oh well, it's in the. I've got it in. There's one in another book. I have to go grab it. That's not the book I've got next to me, but I can go get it if you'd like me to.
Or I can. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, or I can pull it up.
Hold on.
I'll just go ahead. I'll go ahead and pull up Rotherwood too.
Cool.
So that when we went down there and I saw that circle with the line through it with stones.
Well, I was going to ask you what kind. So I was gonna. It was gonna be a stupid question, but I was like, was it like a do not enter with a or no or was it like? Do you think it was like something more?
No, remember, like there's an area at the very. It's not the very bottom, but it's in the chamber area of this cave where there's rocks that you can kind of sit on.
Yeah.
It was right in the middle of it, and I swear, like I just kind of whatever, somebody did that. It was kind of cool, but I saw that symbol again years later. And it was actually in Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when the White Walkers killed all the humans, or the White Walkers killed the Night's Watch, and they took their bodies and they made a circle and put a line down.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I remember what you're talking about now.
So yeah, I don't know what that symbol is.
So it was a rock formation, or like they okay.
Someone had taken stones and made it was about a table size. It was just on the floor of that chamber.
Circle with line through it.
Yeah, and they it's all stones, just stones, and the stones made the line. They made the circle.
Okay.
Yeah, I never knew what that symbol meant, but that was way before Game of Thrones was a show. I just happened to see it.
Well, let's see here. We got 25 witchcraft symbols everyone should know about.
Oh, good.
Let's see here. Trying to see if I... Was it just a single line through it, Michael?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. A single line. Yep.
Was it going across or up and down?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, depending how you were looking at it, I don't... I know. I'm just trying to...
2 large pieces.
Well, it's not the witchcraft symbols that everybody should know.
Oh, well.
Let's see here. Haunted Kingsport Ghost of...
Yeah, so I put a link up to the book that you asked me to read from.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
And I'm posting the other one too that you can pull up later if I get to that one. But anyway, so this book, Haunted Kingsport. Are you done looking through?
Yes. Yes, Michael's making it up, so I can't find.
I've seen what he's talking about.
Oh, I'm kidding.
I just didn't know it was Anyway, so this book, Haunted Kingsport, goes to Tri-City, Tennessee. Tri-City, Tennessee?
Tri-Cities?
Tri-City. That's what it says on the cover, Tri-Cities, Tennessee, even though it's the Tri-Cities. Anyway, so I will read this just for review purposes. Just throw that disclaimer out there so we can review it, talk about it.
We may hit up Pete Dykes and see if he wants to talk about Kingsport. Talk about Kingsport. Okay, Rotherwood Mansion, John.
So, the Ghost of Rotherwood. On the outskirts of Kingsport, Tennessee, where the Holston's two forks come together to form a larger stream, the Rotherwood Plantation Mansion graces the hill on the Hawkins County side of the river. Although much misinformation has been reported concerning the magnificent old residence, a considerable number of individuals have reported certain unexplainable sightings of ethereal images in or near the structure. Local legend has it the house was built by early plantation owner Frederick Ross in 1818, but sadly, such is not the truth. Ross built a mansion, it is true, and named it Rotherwood after a house in Sir Walter Scott's novel Ivanhoe, in tribute to his daughter Rowena, who also was named for a maiden in the story. But Ross's mansion was situated on top of a hill some 100 yards from the present building. It was constructed from two houses that Ross had moved to the site. He then had a large ballroom-like center section built between the two structures, joining them into a magnificent manor house. That's cool. Unfortunately, the Ross mansion was burned to the ground in the closing days of the Civil War. Whether the destructive blaze was arson, an act of war, or an accident has never been established. By that time, Ross had already given up his attempts to establish a silk manufacturing plant nearby and had sold his estate to another owner and left the state. His decision to do so was prompted by two things: the tragic death of his daughter Rowena and the failure of his business establishment. Rowena was, reports say, a lovely girl, and her father's pride and joy. Immensely wealthy for the time, Ross was influential and powerful throughout the area. Ivanhoe, his favorite work of fiction, had so impressed him that he named his daughter for one of the novel's major characters and his plantation from it as well. In addition to his wide-ranging farming interests, from which Ross shipped large amounts of produce and grains downriver on flatboats, the idea came to him that the Holston River country might well be utilized for silkworm cultivation. He imported mulberry trees from Japan and planted a large grove of them. As soon as the rapidly growing trees took root and thrived, Ross imported silkworm eggs from the far island of the Nipponense. I'm not sure where that is, but cool. In the river below his home, in the Norfolk Stream, Ross had a mill plant constructed to his own specifications, patterned after similar such plants where silk production was successful. The silkworms at first seemed to thrive in the mulberry trees, and things boded well for the enterprise, but the factors of fate are fickle to all men, rich or poor. The price of cotton fell, increasing in its use in clothing manufacturing and lowering the price of raw silk. A sudden, unexpected winter of bitter cold dropped the temperatures to well below zero, freezing the silkworm eggs and making them infertile. Ross grimly bore the loss and planned to order more silkworm eggs the following spring. His daughter Rowena, in the meantime, had fallen in love with a handsome local youth and had married on a lovely spring day. Just after the morning ceremony at the Presbyterian church in the village of Kingsport, Rowena had remarked about the beautiful tree blossoms she had seen on the dogwood trees just across the river, and how lovely they would be for a centerpiece at the dining table. Gallantly, the groom had volunteered to take a flatboat and row across the stream to fetch a load of the flowering stems. As the bride, still wearing her wedding gown, watched from the riverbank, her groom's flatboat capsized in midstream, and his frantic efforts to swim proved futile. He drowned in the rushing water, while Rowena looked on in horror. Not long afterward, Rowena's body was found floating face down in the rushing stream. It was after this tragic death that Ross lost all interest in trying to develop the silk business and sold his entire estate and moved away, never to return. Although the original Ross house has been destroyed by fire, the new plantation owner had another one constructed that still stands, magnificent and picturesque, on the Holston Bank. A number of individuals have reported seeing a strange sight near the riverbank there. The vision of a woman dressed in a flowing white bridal gown runs frantically along the shoreline, as if trying to reach or signal to someone in the river. But a brief glimpse is all anyone ever gets before the image vanishes. Is it Rowena trying to reach her drowning bridegroom, or is it just a wisp of fog and overactive imagination? And
you know, it's weird. Did you mention anything about hellhounds?
I did not.
Okay. So
I don't recall.
Okay. Well, let's see here. If we're looking at that, see, to save the plantation following his daughter's death, Ross sold the mansion to a man by the name of Phipps, who happened to also have been his bookkeeper. Phipps was the mirror opposite of Ross. He was known for his cruelty, malice, and irritability. He was the owner that made the dark history of Rotherwood come to life, and who would be the dark entity that is said to haunt the grounds today. Jumping forward in time, when the house was renovated in the mid to late 1940s, a worker was the first to experience a ghostly sighting. The crew said that he looked up, went pale, screamed, ran to their van, and sped away. Later, he returned and told the story as to why. He explained that he felt like someone was staring at him. When he looked up, the worker saw a man materialize from a wall dressed in a dark suit, accompanied by a large black dog with glowing red eyes, baring his teeth and growling. He said the man looked at him, smiled sadistically, and pointed directly at him. The black hound jumped towards the worker and chased him through the house and out to the work van. Many believe this to be Phipps' spirit still roaming the land, waiting to prey on more people. However, Phipps is not the only spirit seen wandering the mansion's grounds. People have reported seeing a beautiful woman wearing a white wedding dress, believed to be Rowena, as well as many of the slaves wandering through the grounds still in the afterlife. Most of them are harmless, save for Phipps and his hound from hell. What do you think? Would you be willing to confront Phipps and his hound from hell? Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
I do remember that. I do remember that now that you said it, but there's nothing in this book about it. That doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, so, I mean, I would love to check out Rotherwood Mansion. That would probably be something that we'd have to actually set up, though, if we wanted to do anything like that.
Yeah, somebody actually lives in it. Like, it's owned and somebody lives there.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And Chad, I think there's a connection with the slaves and haunting. I think whenever you take something so negative and has such a bad negative energy, then yeah, for sure. I mean, there's bound to be something.
We've talked about that before.
Yeah,
in our previous podcast.
Yeah, in our previous episodes, we've actually talked about tragedies happening and just negative energy and leaving an imprint on that too. And whenever you talk about something as ugly as slavery, which is a very terrible blight on Southern culture, it's that's bound to have some ramifications and stuff too. So but yeah.
It's very common, definitely, with slave torture and haunting and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, it's just, it's kind of like, whenever you walk into a place and you just feel negativity, that right there is a clear indicator to me. I would say, things like, because and I guess I'll give an example. People that have been to like the Holocaust site, they'll say that there's just such an oppressive feeling whenever you like walk in there. It's the same thing like if you walk into a plantation where slaves were. There's just such an oppressive, negative, ugly feeling, and it's pretty unfortunate. So, not trying to get deep or extra dark, but yeah, I mean that's just that's something that's ugly for sure. That no human should have to endure. So, all right. So to go lighter now, as we show a picture of dead bodies in a circle. So Mikey sent this through Discord, and this was the symbol that you said that you saw in that cave. Michael?
Yes, but obviously it wasn't dead bodies. Yes.
Yeah, no, I remember there was dead bodies there. There was a black metal band playing there that night. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Cradle of Clean.
But there's an area in that cave that we talked about where, it's almost, you could almost hold a little conference,
Yeah.
Where someone's in the middle of it and people...
I remember what you're talking about now because I didn't know. I could not remember for the life of me. I know exactly what you're talking about though, and it was like a little seating area in there. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I've forgotten all about that. Man, you unlocked a memory right there.
Do you remember the seating area that looked almost like a Forest Church at Blue Plum?
Oh my gosh, yeah. You and I were so drunk on Manchevitz.
Yeah, Manischewitz.
Yeah.
The kosher sweet wine.
Yeah, we bought that. We bought about 2 bottles of that for $5 a piece, and with inflation, I don't know how much it is now. Probably $10. But it's so we downed like 2 bottles of that in my car, and then you and I drunkenly stumbled on that, and I remember we were like, "This is so cool and beautiful," and we found, and it probably wasn't, but in our drunk minds, it was awesome, and yeah, we hung out there for a minute. So
Yeah, we did.
we went on one big adventure that night for sure.
That was fun.
It was fun. So what I can remember. So, let's see. Is there anything else in Kingsport?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in Kingsport, but
Yeah. Anything that right off the top of your head, so?
Well, I think the takeaway here is that Appalachian is Kingsport. And
Yeah. It's Kingsport is smack dab in the Appalachian area. It's
so Rotherwood Mansion is on one end of Netherland Inn Road, and just that name itself, Netherland Inn.
Yep.
The Netherland Inn, which is actually it's not halfway up the road. I would say from Rotherwood Mansion, it's about 3/4 of the way up the road. But it used to be a very successful and popular inn because it was literally on the river. There are the stories of ghosts haunting Netherland Inn because it got very foggy and misty down where it was right next to the lake, and people would be walking and they would get hit by a car, or they would get they would drown in the lake or the river rather, and so. Ooh, what a creepy picture, anyway, of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's about what that's what it looks like, for the most part. It's yeah.
Is that the backside of it?
That could be the backside.
Oh no, maybe that's
okay.
the. Maybe
here you go.
Old...
Yeah, this is right here is the Netherland Inn.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Fun fact.
No, they must have redone it.
Yeah. So yeah, it is it's a haunting little area. Well, that area right there alone, if we really talk about it, it's probably the most concentrated area in all of Kingsport. Because, 5 Caves isn't really too far off from that either. From that general area. And then you also have, right there over there, you have that island in the middle of the river.
Yep,
the Long Island, which is supposed to be cursed and haunted, and used to be a Native American meeting ground.
Yeah, it was a sacred. It was a sacred meeting ground where they held almost religious. Ceremonies, and we took it from them and kicked them off the land. It's
cursed. Yeah. Yep.
I lived right there for 3 years.
Yeah, you did.
I lived in the morgue of the hospital.
Do what?
I did, yeah.
Oh, at Netherland Inn?
Yeah, there's
right down the road, yeah.
What is it the Fisher Dock or something like that? What's it called? Those now?
It was past that, but yeah, I don't know what it's called now, but yeah. It was the old hospital, and I lived in the morgue.
I did not know that. So.
Yeah. Right across from the entrance to the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. It's Boatyard something, isn't it? The Boatyard.
They've changed owners. I'm not sure what it's called now.
I'm not too savvy on Netherland Inn. I know of it. I know about it, but I just I've never really studied the lore behind it.
Was it Upton Street? Was it near Upton Street?
No, I lived right on Netherland Inn, right in front of the entrance to the park.
Let's see here.
Right, but wasn't there a road right next to it?
No.
Like on each side? I thought you could pull all the way around it.
You could drive. Yeah, you could drive. You could drive around it. Sure.
Yeah,
it wasn't a road though.
It's actually Upton Street. So.
The Haunted Netherland Inn Road in Kingsport, Tennessee. Haunted location, Netherland Inn Road in Kingsport. Details: Hugh Hamblin was killed on Netherland Inn Road in 1922, run down by a car. He had been visiting his son, who had also been in a car accident in the hospital. On foggy nights, Hamblin stands in the road in a trench coat with outstretched hands, warning, I've heard that story, of oncoming cars of the fog. Over 120 people have reported seeing him. Wasn't there one of a lady jumping off of a bridge over there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing the lady jump off the bridge. I
Yeah,
just
you
seen.
could-
Was that in
You could drive-
Netherlands?
It's really close.
I just sent a picture.
Woman-
I just sent the Google Maps of where Mikey used to live.
Off a
So
bridge.
it's creepy looking.
Kingsport, Tennessee, ghost.
It's really close to Maryland. You drive like you're going towards Allendale, and then you turn down that bridge. And if you drive slow enough at a certain time, and you're watching the bridge,
Yeah, that's right.
you can see her jump from the bridge.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. It's
September
over-
September
okay.
25th, 2023. I don't think this is Kingsport. I want you to die. A woman claims ghost made her jump off of a bridge.
Oh wow.
Let's see here.
That's unfortunate.
Okay.
Well, I guess she lived.
So this building right here, Michael, that's where you.
That's it. Yep,
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that's like a massive apartments now, isn't it? Or is it
And
still?
underneath it is the morgue, and that was my bedroom.
Hey, those are Kingsport residents right there.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, Michael Smith lived there for a minute too.
I remember that. Yeah.
I know where you're talking about. Actually, Mikey, I think it was on Big Elm Road as well.
Yeah. So this was a hospital, right?
Yep.
Okay. Would you say that you experienced anything there, or nothing? Any weird vibes? Any?
I otherwise didn't, but my stepdaughter, she would get weird feelings, yeah, and so she'd come looking for me and just be like, "Hey, can you come check this out?" And I never found anything, but she would get creeped out,
Right.
and she's otherwise not really.
Easily scared.
No, she would watch. She'd watch scary stuff and everything else and be just fine.
Right.
But she'd get these feelings where, when, if she'd be alone in her room reading or whatever, she'd just kind of feel uneasy.
Mikey, is that? Can you see? Is that what you're talking about? Because that's what this is the place that I was told
Yeah.
that
Yeah, that's it.
if you drove slowly under, and this is also Big Elm Road that connects to.
That's the one where the woman jumped off the bridge, correct?
Yeah, and
Okay.
you
Yeah, right into the road.
Supposedly, if you drove slowly, you could see her ghost jump down into your car.
Yep.
Well, and
Yeah.
actually, some people got in trouble because they actually threw an effigy that had scared the hell out of some people. So,
Oh wow!
They did what? Like what? An effigy?
well, something that looked like a human.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Oh, do something off. Oh wow!
Yeah. So, we went from Appalachian folklore to just Kingsport, Tennessee being really fucking wild.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kingsport is a very haunted, sleepy little town, and the thing is though about Kingsport is that the legends kind of keep coming, and I think that is something that you can take away from folklore in general. I've gone to so many areas where you just have people that always have a story, and it's hard to go to like a town. I've been out west and Midwest, and you don't hear shit out there. Like, I'm serious. Like, nobody tells you anything. Like, the most interesting thing I found in the Midwest was the town of Metropolis, where it was decked out in Superman stuff. That's really about the extent of it. But in specifically the South, in Appalachian South, you always hear about witches. You always hear about ghosts. You always hear about
Wampus cat.
Wampus cat. I heard about that in Alabama. And you always hear about cryptids, especially cryptids. And man, I'm telling you, here in Georgia, northern Georgia, Bigfoot he's practically worshipped. You see Bigfoot cutouts everywhere. You see Bigfoot in everybody's yard. And it's pretty cool, I'm not going to lie, but and then you have Bigfoot hunts here all the time. I just, that's one takeaway that you can, and just from us living in Kingsport, there's just so many sleepy town legends, and I'd say this one's actually a true story, and it's a very unfortunate story, and I really won't pull it up because I don't want to give anybody's name away or anything like that too. But do you all remember, like Greenbelt? Greenbelt's kind of a weird place too. You get.
I know.
You said dangerous.
It is at the moment.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
But it's like they had it was like an old elderly gentleman, and I think that he was only he got out of a nursing home and he started to walk the Greenbelt, and they couldn't find him. It was all over the news in Kingsport, and I think even Christy went to go try to find him because she was trying to help out the community with locating him. And I think by the time they found him, he was already so heavily decomposed, and it had only been like a matter of days. Over in Greenbelt, and then they actually found. Now this was around that same time too. They found a skeleton in Greenbelt, and this is also Kingsport. Skeleton found in Greenbelt, out Kingsport, Tennessee, and they could not explain the skeleton, if I remember correctly. That's 2022. Let's see. Bones found at Kingsport home in January. Huh.
Oh,
Lord. Belonged to human, but no foul play suspected. So that's just Kingsport. Kingsport's just a really weird place.
I think you can apply it to a lot of areas, though.
I think you could, but I don't know if you can apply it in such abundance in a small town. If you go to a place like Atlanta, that's just a Tuesday.
What the folklore legends I grew up to were in East Texas?
What's that?
Oh, hot damn! I was under the bridge, and I swear to God, 100-pound catfish about knocked over the boat.
Yeah, that's about it. That's about it.
That is so funny. That is so funny that is like the huge catfish is like a
that's a common
for the South.
That's a common occurrence. Yeah. So there's a lot of skeletal remains found in Kingsport, by the way.
Catfish.
Well, this is the picture on my Rambler's Guide to Cryptids of Eastern America calls it the Tennessee catfish and says it's larger than a Volkswagen.
Yeah, well, I'd imagine it'd have to.
It'd have to be 100 pounds if it's bigger than a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
And the one of those stories in the other book is about a large catfish. That's crazy. And I mean, it's just cool to see those. Obviously, the folklore has circulated enough that it can be found in so many different places. I mean, and there probably are catfish that big. I mean, you think about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, catfish are huge, dude.
I've seen a 50-pound catfish before, and they shot it with a gun.
Right? Yeah, because that was about the only way to deal with it.
Yeah.
50-pound cat. Wow.
50 pounds.
We call that good eating.
That's like as big as my son.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I like this right here. Social changes to Appalachian culture. Early 20th century social workers were stunned by the living conditions they found in some areas. Little sanitation, children without shoes or fresh clothes, and large families crammed into dirty one-room shacks were common sights. But I think that's an indicator too, is why there was so much storytelling, is that that was a way to pass time and to get your mind off of the ugly. The distrusting of foreigners, toting little black bags filled with black magic. Some mountain families became their own doctors and pharmacists, which is still very relevant today. They used odd assortments of herbs, tonics, and roots to treat everything from typhoid fever to measles. As a result, the mortality rate soared. Hence, the social workers brought what became the first wave of modernization to the hills. For instance, trained nurses taught families about personal hygiene and homemaking skills. Teachers taught children to read and write, while midwives helped deliver babies in the remote hollows. Indeed, some social workers risked their lives braving through mountain roads, swollen streams, and treacherous bridges to reach the isolated families. But Appalachian ghost stories like the town without death didn't flinch from the inevitability of death. On the contrary, such stories argued that life must be lived to the fullest, no matter the hardships. But there's something to take away from that. Like, how many of us have, especially in this area, have we heard there's a cure for everything? From I'm trying to think of one right now. I mean, just I can tell you, I use honey to treat
Is
everything.
there a cure for brain fart?
Yeah, I need that. I wish I could learn your accents. Well, thank you. You got to live here for a while. So, got to live here for a while.
Honey is nature's medicine.
I mean, it really is. You
Well,
know,
it's wonderful.
I'm trying to think of like just something right off the top of my head. I know Christy's grandpa always had, and he would carry a book around with like old medicine techniques and stuff too.
I swear moonshine can fix a lot of things.
Moonshine can fix a lot, you know. Whiskey can fix a ton.
Here's a fun little thing for people who aren't from around here, but will know part of it. So Mountain Dew is everywhere. What is moonshine? Okay, well,
wasn't Mountain Dew initially
Yes.
created to be a chaser for moonshine?
it is. It
Yeah,
was. So
yeah.
moonshine is a spirit that was distilled in the mountains of the Appalachians. It's very, very potent. It was relatively easy and cheap to make if you were able to get the
Mountain
materials.
whiskey.
Yeah.
But Mountain Dew was created to chase
Yeah,
moonshine because it tasted so horrible, and Doctor Enough was created at the same time to drink the next day. It's packed full of vitamin B. Multiple B vitamins because there's
B
like
vitamins, yeah.
12 to 15.
multiple B vitamins,
But-
and then you know, there's also like a ginseng, Doctor Enough, and like
Yeah.
and ginseng's a cure all too for a lot of people in that area.
Yeah, but they were made at the same time to be mixed with and then to cure hangovers from moonshine here in Johnson City, Tennessee, which is one of the Tri-Cities. Kingsport being one, Bristol being the other.
Right.
And so you can't find Doctor Enough easily outside of the region, but Mountain Dew's everywhere in the
Hey,
United
fun
States.
fact. Kingsport had something to do with Al Capone and the moonshine trade too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
actually.
I'm sure it was a major port.
Yeah.
That's what it stood for. It was
Kingsport.
Port. It wasn't King.
Well,
King.
you all know why how NASCAR came around, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, moonshine writing.
Yeah, moonshine writing. Yeah, bootleggers. That's how NASCAR got started. And now look at it. It's just terrible now.
And my car don't run on moonshine, and it's some foreign t-shirt.
I'm just gonna turn to the left, so. But yeah, what is moonshine? Moonshine is typically corn, isn't it? Am I correct in that? Yeah, it's
a
typically
corn whiskey.
Corn-
Usually, it's like a whiskey, really.
it's a corn whiskey, and
Mountain whiskey.
it's the White Lightning is another name for it.
Yeah.
White Lightning. But the thing about moonshine is whenever you drink moonshine, you don't feel it while you're sitting down, but you'll sure as hell feel it whenever you stand up. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, so it's there's a lot of now moonshine's just kind of everywhere. You can go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and drink all you want of moonshine. It's not,
Pretty much.
or you can get it from a guy named Dale who's about 80 pounds, white hair, and he swears it'll start your car up if you pour it in it. So,
Yeah.
My dad made us feel just cuz.
yeah. So it's I was gonna build a distillery. Whenever I lived in Kingsport.
Yeah. Look up moonshine and its history. That's a rabbit hole to deep.
Well, but the funny thing
That
is,
is an interesting thing, yeah.
there is a lot of folklore to moonshine too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there really is. That's interesting. Do the Ozark Mountains? Was moonshine a big part of their culture? I'm not even sure.
I'm not sure.
No, I don't know. Huh?
And moonshine.
Cool name.
Let's see.
Moonshine.
Let's see. Moonshine folklore. Christy loves moonshine, by the way, and she also wanted to let us know that she's in Atlanta right now, which Atlanta is not a part of the Appalachian area though.
Yeah, it's not Christy.
Unfortunately, let's see here. Moonshining has a rich history and set of traditions both around the U.S., but particularly in the Upper Valley. Given its backwoods nature, the fact that it is an imperfect science and the varieties of moonshine itself, there is much to be said about the rituals and taboos surrounding moonshine. And I'll tell you, if you meet people that work with moonshine, they're very fucking passionate about it. Like, they really are. Moonshiners share a deep connection to their past and have a penchant for tradition. In interviewing 4 local moonshiners of the Upper Valley, we hope to share with the audience a set of folklore that is often explored and underappreciated. Let's see here. I would say probably in like in our era, the most popular person behind moonshine would probably be like Popcorn Sutton.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, Popcorn Sutton. Didn't he? He actually killed himself right before it became legal.
I don't think he killed himself.
I could have sworn Popcorn Sutton killed himself.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Popcorn Sutton.
I know he died before it was made legal, but there was like a big thing about his family selling his recipe once it became legal because everybody wanted the name.
Popcorn Sutton died by suicide from carbon monoxide poisoning in March 2009, age 62, rather than report to federal prison after being convicted of offenses related to moonshine and illegal firearm possession. Yep. So
You're right.
I think Johnny Cash came to our area to get his moonshine. That's a unqualified thing, but I have seen a picture of Johnny Cash in Kingsport,
Down to the Lynn Garden Restaurant.
One of the worst, I got a story about Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash invited my family over for dinner one night because my grandmother knew him from going to Carter's Fold. And she would go there and dance, and she met Johnny Cash there. Well, Johnny Cash said, well, you should invite your family over one night. So Johnny Cash called our house, that trailer that we lived in whenever I lived in high school.
Jackson Hollow?
Yeah, Jackson. Man, I didn't even remember the name of that.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, Jackson Hollow. That's going to be my country name. Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash made great music. So Johnny Cash called our house, and Mom picked up the phone, and he was like, "Hello, I'm Johnny Cash." And Mom said, "Oh, you're full of shit. You're just playing a joke on me," and hung up on him. And they tried calling back to say, "No, this really is Johnny Cash. We wanted to see if you wanted to come have dinner at his house tonight." And she goes, "You're just lying." And we never got to have dinner with Johnny Cash.
Oh my God.
Yep. And then I think he passed away maybe 2 years later.
Your mother. Oh Lord.
If that's not a my mom tale, So.
But to be fair, the second time I probably would have accepted it if they called back again.
I would have accepted it at free dinner.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have to pay for it. So, but all right. We got anything else tonight? Any other stories?
Well, okay. So I've got 3, but I figure I'll let y'all pick one of them, and I'm not going to tell you the name of them. I'm only going to tell you the mood of each of them, and I'm going to let y'all pick the mood of the story that I tell. So we've got one that is, it's dark. We've got one that
Dark.
is hold on. We've got one that's dark, one that's very funny or humorous, and then we've got one that is kind of happy-ish.
Well, they ain't happy. We ain't doing that.
Doug?
There was dark and happy, and what else?
Dark, happy, and then funny. When I say happy, I'll say that the last words of the story say they supplied us with hope.
I'm going to go dark. Dark.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and say, how about we take a quick intermission, 5
Okay.
minutes, and
Yeah.
we'll come right back to it. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Mm.
Shut up, guys. All right. Gonna mute you, dumb boys. Hold on. Okay, we're back. Can you hear me? Are we on?
I can.
Are we live? I can hear you too. They can really hear you, from what I understand. Oh, God. So I do not claim that. So you had was that a jump scare? My mug was a jump scare. We got the zoom cam on.
Those are my Oreos. What?
So
Loud as can be, jumping right. Oh, I'm back.
I'm back. Wake up. All right. Sorry, we had to take a quick intermission.
I needed to
Shut up. Well, granted, Mikey did say that at the beginning. Oh, I haven't finished wiping yet. So, oh well, we are a very professional podcast, as you can tell. We
have fun.
we do have fun. We do have fun. We clearly don't have our shit together, but we do have fun. Well, I guess we have too much shit together.
I know where my shit is.
My shit's all together.
So, all right. Yikes. All right. So, what story are you telling, John? And you said, yeah. What story are we telling?
Like I said, I had the dark one, a funny one, and then
I think we voted for dark.
yeah, we voted for dark. If we've got time, I might tell the funny one just for later. I might just tell it just for giggles and others. So, anyway, this story is from the Granny Curse book.
What's it called?
The story is called Dakwa Kaplunk. D-A-K-W-A.
D-A-K-W-A.
Yep. K-A hyphen plunk. Dakwa Plunk. You can barely hear me. Curse of the Appalachian.
Nothing's coming up.
No. It's in the Granny Curse.
John, they can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me.
In fact,
Dakwa Plum.
Mikey sounds pretty quiet too. But yeah, chat's saying they can barely hear you.
Well, I have not done anything. Hold on. I haven't done anything different to my knowledge, unless you turned me down.
No, I don't think so.
I didn't think you did. I've got the microphone closer to my mouth than normal, actually.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just talking more quietly? How is it now, Christy?
Christy wrote in the comments. He almost sounds like he's sitting away from the microphone. Christy wrote in the comments, "The curse of the Appalachian fart man."
Well, hold on 1 second. Let me see if I don't know. I didn't do anything different. Oh.
Yeah, I got my volume all the way up. So.
I'm just gonna upload it back in.
I want to learn about Dakwa Plum.
Okay. Is that any better? Does it sound any better for anybody?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're.
Does it sound any different to you guys?
I think the desktop audio. Yeah, no different.
But does it sound different to you, Doug or Mikey?
You do sound pretty muffled. Let's see here.
That's so weird.
We're whispering right now.
What? Wait, it says there you go. Does that sound better now?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. Both of you just came in strong, so they are sounding better now.
Okay. All right. Well, if it continues or if it comes back, please let me know. It's called Dakwa Kaplunk, and it's a Cherokee story, based out of the actual location is Chattanooga, Hamilton County.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to read it. So it says, "Let me tell you a story," John Brown said to his guests at the tavern he owned and managed on the Moccasin Bend of the Tennessee River. Brown, a Cherokee, also operated the ferry here. This important crossing was a vital link in the old Federal Road, the only passageway between the Deep South and Eastern markets. John Brown's Tavern was erected in 1803 by Caspar Vaught who had been sent to that area by Colonel R.J. Meigs, the federal Indian agent to the Cherokee. The tavern was a two-story log home with a dog trot walkway down the center, front to back. A front porch extended across the entire lower floor. The ends, two stone chimneys at either end of the house, each more than 8 feet wide, were impressive. Guests were confident when spending a warm night and morning at John Brown's tavern, and there were many guests, just as there were many travelers, families, and traders who used the ferry to cross the Tennessee River at Moccasin Bend, where the river snakes along the base of Lookout Mountain. By all accounts, John Brown made a killing, but he had a way to take in more profit than the usual innkeeper did during the early years of American expansion. Being a Cherokee, Brown possessed a wealth of stories, the telling of which surely enthralled his guests who were traveling at the edge of wilderness. Brown was also of a friendly disposition. His company was enjoyed by most of those who used his ferry and stayed at his inn. After dinner, he told weary travelers spirited Cherokee legends of a witch with an elongated spear-like finger for plucking out a child's liver, of underground panthers, of a slant-eyed giant named Sasalka. Known for his generosity, Brown would give away small amounts of tobacco and handcrafted smoking pipes to men who stayed at his inn, just so they might step out on the porch at night and enjoy a smoke with him. At times he would even entice some of them to walk to the river's edge with him, where he would check on the ferry before going to bed and say a few words in Cherokee to the young boy who slept at the side. The youth's mission was to raise alarm should anyone or anything threaten the safety of the travelers, wagons, and horses. When inviting a guest to walk down to the river, Brown would say, "Come to the water with me and let me tell you a Tanasi story."
Oh, we're doing voices.
Well, a little bit. I've been listening to audiobooks lately, so it just kind of happens. Tanasi is the Cherokee word for the big river that was changed to Tennessee when pronounced by white pioneers and settlers in the area. It was at the river's edge, or while crossing on the ferry, that Brown told his best stories. These were the Cherokee water stories, detailed accounts of water cannibals, a haunted whirlpool, and a monstrously oversized leech. Of course, there were also stories about fish. John Brown would often take travelers and their supplies across the river at night, or in the pre-dawn hours of the morning. This was especially important when a trader wanted an early start on dry land before the July or August sun rose and began to slowly cook the southern border of Tennessee into a sweltering heat. A river doesn't sleep quietly at night, if at all. It churns and eddies. Fish jump. Mud hens squawk. Bear, deer, bobcats, raccoons, possum come to the river at night. Logs jam other logs and brush. And every once in a while something goes kaplunk. On many a night, John Brown would tell his guests his favorite Tanasi tale, the story of Dakwa. Dakwa was a giant fish that lived in the Tennessee River. The giant fish could easily swallow a man. To demonstrate the size of Dakwa's mouth, John Brown held his arms in a large circle, fingertips touching fingertips. He would then say that Dakwa's mouth was twice as big as this circle. Dakwa has barbs at both sides of his mouth, like a catfish, Brown said, as if the fish lived in the river still. The barbs are scarlet. All man-killers have red in their mouths. Brown went on to tell of a Cherokee warrior who was crossing the river in a canoe. The hungry Dakwa rose up under the boat with such force it flipped the surprised warrior high into the air. When the warrior came down, Dakwa was waiting at the surface of the water with his huge mouth open. The warrior fell in. "Right over there at that spot," John Brown said, pointing. Cherokees always knew the exact location of their stories. Brown continued his story. He said that Dakwa snapped its mouth closed and dived to the bottom of the river. The fish rested there, its belly full. The warrior regained his senses while sitting inside Dakwa. The young man was uninjured, but he was afraid he would suffocate because there was so little air inside the fish. The fish can breathe air from water. A man cannot. The warrior felt around in the darkness for his spear. It wasn't with him. Neither was his knife. What he found were stacks of mussel shells the fish had swallowed over the years. He broke one open and used the broken edge as a knife to cut his way out of Dakwa's belly. It irritated the giant fish to have his stomach scraped with a mussel shell. He swam to the surface of the river and thrashed the water with his tail until the whole river was covered with foam. The warrior continued to scrape at Dakwa's stomach until he got a hole started. Water poured in. The warrior worked frantically until he managed to open a hole in the side of the giant fish large enough to slip through. Finally, the warrior swam free. Dakwa was not killed, but was very embarrassed to have a hole in his stomach. He was so humiliated that he never came to the surface of the river again. Brown warned that Dakwa still sat at the bottom of the river, his side closed up with mud. The warrior found that he was changed by the experience. Others in the Cherokee town noticed it when he came home. The acidic slime of the great fish's stomach had scalded the hair from his head, and he was bald ever after. That was the end of John Brown's tale. At this point, Brown would punctuate the end of the story by dropping into the water a heavy stone from a pile of native rocks that he kept at one end of the ferry. Kaplunk. He'd lift the rock over his head when no one was watching. Kaplunk. It was an effective sound effect, which brought a startling end to his story. But sometimes he didn't drop the rock into the river. Instead, he brought it down swiftly and with direct aim upon the head of the unsuspecting ferry customer. It's a true story. The amiable Cherokee innkeeper was a serial murderer. His motive was robbery. It paid better than putting a plate of biscuits and gravy on the table of a morning for travelers who spent the night in the log house. It paid more than the nominal fee he charged to ferry wagons, horses, people, and their dogs across the Tennessee River at Moccasin Bend. The fee to cross the river on John Brown's ferry at night was sometimes blood. More than one traveler paid with his life. If John Brown was lucky, his victim paid with a fine gold watch and chain, a leather purse of current gold coins in silver and gold, a gun, a knife, pots and pans. Brown took whatever he wanted from the customer's wagon, including human lives. It wasn't what was in the Tennessee River that proved dangerous to ferry passengers. Dakwa did not rise from the rolling waters to swallow them whole. It was the man who lived on the river who proved to be the real risk to travelers at the edge of the American frontier. John Brown must have chosen his victims wisely and with care. His murders weren't discovered in his lifetime. Perhaps he killed only lone travelers. Perhaps he limited his robbery and murder to traders on the old Federal Road. Once John Brown killed and robbed his victims under the cover of darkness. He weighted the body with rocks and threw it in the river. Kaplunk. Then he rolled the traveler's wagon off the edge of the ferry into the dark moving water. Perhaps one or two of his victims had only been knocked unconscious by the murder. Perhaps badly injured and weighted with heavy stones, they saw the river flow over them as their life slipped away. Maybe they saw the giant Dakwa sitting on the bottom of the river nearby. The identities of his victims are unknown. They were not found, however. 50 years later, long after the Indian removal of the 1830s was history, dredging operations in the location of John Brown's ferry uncovered a line of broken wagon parts. It followed the course of the ferry crossing from one side of the river to the other. Discovered among the decomposing wagon pieces were human bones. The bones were embedded in the muck, in a line across the river like beads on a necklace, precisely in line with John Brown's ferry crossing. John Brown concluded his life on this earth without ever being brought to justice for his crimes. Some chroniclers of the past say he was forced west during the final Indian removal, one of the few men of wealth to traverse the Trail of Tears. Today, when weather conditions allow, you can see the location of John Brown's ferry crossing at Moccasin Bend from Lookout Mountain. Sometimes from that lofty perch you can see something big move just under the surface of the water. At another spot is a whirlpool that might be the result of Dakwa moving his tail at the bottom of the Tennessee River. You can't see all the way to the bottom, of course, no matter how high you get. There is a way, however, to see under the river, and you don't have to be hit in the head and weighed down with rocks to do it. Visitors to the Tennessee Aquarium in Chattanooga can see what the bottom of the river looks like. Among wildlife exhibits, the $45 million aquarium replicates the habitat, fish included, of the state's major bodies of water. You can see the bottom of its lakes and both the Mississippi and Tennessee rivers. More importantly, visitors to the Tennessee Aquarium can expect to emerge from the exhibits fully alive and with at least as much hair on their skulls as they had when they went in. The end.
The Tennessee Aquarium is fucking awesome, by the way.
I know it is. That's one of the first things that really captivated my son's attention. I remember that,
yeah, because See, Mikey says that he is muted.
Yeah, it looks like he is. But
It looks like he's muted on his end, though. So I did want to say we do have a first-time chatter in here, too. Let's see. Hoy Machu Picchu, who is also a fellow streamer. He's actually pretty inspirational, too. He's actually a fellow stroke survivor, just like me. So go check him out and give him a follow, too. He's an awesome guy. Super positive, nice attitude. So, but definitely an inspiration. So thank you for stopping in and talking to us tonight. I really appreciate that, Machu Picchu. So he was playing Alan Wake last night. I was watching him a little bit. But yeah. But no, that's it's Lookout Mountain too is such a beautiful place. If you ever get a chance to come to Chattanooga, Tennessee, where I live in Ringgold, Georgia, but I tell people Chattanooga because it's right there on that line. Just a really awesome place to go up to. It's breathtaking, to be honest, whenever you look out there too. And there's actually a Civil War fortress up there too, where the Union had actually taken cannons and held the Union actually held the Confederacy back at the base of the mountain. So Alan Wake is Alan Wake, the character is not great, but the game is really good. So if you but if you go through there, and we talked about residual energies and a lot of negative energies too, going through Battlefield, Fort Oglethorpe, and going through Battlefield Parkway and everything like that too. Walking through there through the woods, it's so quiet, and they actually say that you can see a lot of the ghost of Civil War soldiers and stuff too, and you can sometimes hear cannons firing off. I've never seen or heard anything like that, but I can tell you it's a very somber feeling that you get up there too. So, but the fortress on top of Lookout Mountain, it's almost kind of it's never talked about, and it's definitely worth checking out too. You can also take a trail going down the mountain on there too. The South is definitely wild. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've talked enough tonight about. We really ended up talking more about Kingsport, Tennessee, which is where we're from. Which is I didn't realize just how cool it actually is. So, come.
Hard to see it.
Yeah. It's if you live there basically all your life, everybody thinks every town they're from sucks. Personally, I think Kingsport has a lot of nice little quirks and stuff like that too. It's could it be better? Of course. Is it a big city, like Atlanta or Chattanooga or anything like that? No, it's a small, sleepy little town. I think the best way I ever heard Kingsport described is that it's a little city with big city problems. It's the model city. Mikey, you're back. Did you finally unmute yourself?
Yeah, we haven't started about Eastman.
Yeah, there's a lot of Eastman conspiracy twos, which I don't really think would fall into Appalachian folklore. We got some things coming up. I think I'm going to try to plan a weekend to go up there and film a little bit with John in Kingsport. Obviously it's that ended up being a hot topic tonight about Sensabaugh Tunnel, which I was not expecting to be as that chat to go crazy like it did.
Hey, that's a big folklore piece around here. And
it is.
We have people in the upper north who've heard of it.
Yeah.
So it's,
yeah. I'll be doing a little bit of recording, hopefully sometime soon, if time permits, doing some recordings around my town that I currently live in, Ringgold, Georgia, and talking about some of the stuff that went on there. John and I, we actually went on a little tour, a little haunted ghost tour last year, and we've talked about it on our episodes before. But, a lot of public hangings at the jailhouse and, the Confederate cemetery, and then the bodies buried on top of each other because the family couldn't afford one more burial plot, and then a serial.
I really think you need to reach out to them and try to get
an actual
let them film it, film the whole thing.
Yeah.
Them telling everything, because it's really, really cool.
It's very interesting, and
really, I think it's amazing. I thought it was so much fun.
Well, it's just such a dark history, and I wasn't expecting it, and I had lived there for 4 years, 3 years I think at that time, and and then there's also like the serial killer that was leaving effigies based on the child, or like the children were leaving effigies after they were murdered.
The kids would the murderer was like luring children in with toys, and they would leave the toys on their like at their homes, and they were trying to like
lure the serial
toys to show where the serial killer's home was.
Yeah, and and so this is where I currently live, Ringgold, and it's fascinating. It really, I did not, and so I would encourage you to get out into your towns and find out all your dark secrets, because it's you might be a little bit surprised they're there.
It's important to note that I'm the only one brave enough to say Kingsport.
Hey, John's in Churchill. That's still Kingsport to me.
Mount Carmel. Actually, I'm very close to Kingsport. Kingsport wants to swallow us up whole.
Yeah. So, but Mount Carmel has a few little things about it too. I'm trying to think. No. I'm serious. There's a ghost story in there. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to look it up. There's a ghost story.
That's the only city in America that's on one side of the highway. That's all they're known for.
That's funny, but I'm not sure if that's true anymore.
Yeah,
I think there's a cemetery now on the other side.
Let's see. I feel like a Kingsport history lesson. I think we gave a Kingsport history lesson. The thing is, though, we didn't even touch on everything in Kingsport.
Yes, it's Kingsport 101.
Yeah,
Wait till you get to 113.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And then we got some stuff in San Jose, California. Macho, man, I'd love to know what that stuff is. So we can talk about it. So if there's anything that you guys that
would be cool.
That would be really cool. So if you and honestly, if you guys have stories and stuff about your town, you want to hop on and talk, we'd love for you guys to come on and talk about it. The more the merrier. There's a lot of really cool stuff and stories out there too. So, also fun fact: Ringgold, Georgia is where Dolly Parton got married at the little chapel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Christy points out a cool fact that Halloween is on a Tuesday, and that she says the hayride would be a cool Halloween live stream. But if that's not possible, are we still going to try to stream?
If John Flus would come down, we could do a live stream on Halloween.
I sadly don't get.
Yeah.
Well, I would love. I may be able to. I'll talk to wifey.
Okay.
Because the kids will have schools to issue.
See, Machu Picchu. See, I don't have anything but drugs in my town. Well, that's Kingsport, Tennessee. Kingsport, Tennessee has a ton of drugs, and Chattanooga has tons of drugs.
We're not Gainesville.
Yeah, it's Kingsport. I think it's Kingsport more meth these days. I think so.
Yeah, meth.
Yeah. So Machu Picchu, haunted school, spirit haunting the mountain, a haunted silo, and some other stuff too. Man, I really want to talk to you then. There's a lot. Yeah,
I want to hear about that.
If you guys can, I'm in the process of editing a lot of the filler and stuff like that out too. But these will actually be uploaded onto YouTube, and then I'm working on an angle to get all of our talks on all the big podcast networks as far as like Amazon and Spotify and all that. But it's I would encourage you. It is a very long process. But I would encourage you to go back and listen to it. We've talked about different areas like West Virginia and in my experiences there, Louisville. Michael's talked about his encounter with aliens. Gray that and there's been a lot of cool stuff. So we're glad that we have some new chats tonight. And so happy that you guys were able to hop in too. So
yeah, it's been awesome.
So as you probably noticed, I'm on here as Captain Bowie. We also have a YouTube channel that is the Blood Brothers Live on YouTube. Trying to think of anything else right off the bat. John is in a band called Strangers When We Meet. So give them a follow, check them out. He's also an avid kendama player. And Michael is Michael's Michael. Buy Bitcoin. But yeah, no, thank you all for. Go ahead.
Captain Bowie, how many followers are we at right now?
Well, right now we are at, I believe, 43 followers. Could be 44.
44 now. I believe.
44. We've gone up. Yeah. So.
What do you?
So if we get to 50 followers, we are going to have a horror movie night with us, and we will pop a movie on, and we will watch a movie live together, and it'd probably be dwell down to like Mystery Science 3000, because we're probably going to be roasting it. But we would love for you guys if we get to 50 followers, that's going to be our first movie night. And I think what we'll do is for every 50, we'll do a movie night. It's been a long road. We've been doing this for less than a year, and I will say that I'm pretty happy that, the followers that we've got, it's been very organic, and they've been very interactive and talk with us still. So we're very proud of what we've done, even though it's a very small community.
It's fun.
The long one is now falling, so we're up to 45 now. We only need 5 more followers to get up there. So.
Yep. We're close. My last question of the night. What will the next topic be?
We gotta see if we can get that loaded up. It's funny because Christy brought that up. I thought it was gonna be a hot tub stream for. We did talk about. I'll tell you what.
Well, you know what? We could do it in a hot tub.
We could watch horror movies in a hot tub. I don't. Yeah, we could probably do that. You don't want to see John and I in a hot tub, but we'll do it.
I don't know. We had fun.
We did have fun in a hot tub. That was the night we went on the haunted tour.
It was. I bought a hot tub because of that night.
Oh, well, the long one wants to see the hot tub stream. So,
spread the word. Get more people to follow us.
Yeah,
we'll gladly do it.
So, I'll tell you what. If we get to 50, we'll do the horror movie night. If we get to 100, we will look at doing a hot tub stream.
I don't care what Doug says. I'll watch the stream in the hot tub.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. If we get John down here, we'll get my hot tub, and we will.
Moonshines. Oh boy, that was.
With moonshines.
We're talking.
We're talking plural.
Lots of them.
All right. Let's see.
No, you wouldn't be able to hear the movie.
We'd be laughing our asses off. You'd hear the suds and the bubbles on our.
We'd have to make it. It'd have to be a really bad movie that people wouldn't want to see.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's getting sexy in here.
I'm hitting it now.
All right. So let's see here. We have done Appalachian folklore.
Listen, you have to roll it until one of Mikey's topics finally comes up.
Well, it could be. Let's see here.
I don't even remember what
Michael had Lilith, hero or devil. He had the apocalypse, and yeah, I think that's the 2 that he had on there. Let's see.
No, he's had more than that, surely.
No, because I think the first one actually was Michael's, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. You're leaving Michael out there. Well, if Michael would quit being a stranger when we meet, So.
No, I think he did. He did the apocalypse and Lilith. And
we're talking about Michael in the hot tub stream. If Michael would come down and visit me, we'd throw him in a hot tub with us. All right, we're gonna spin the wheel for the next topic. Gonna be a Georgia peach with me. Futuristic technology in the past. Well, that's gonna be a nerd one.
I swear I feel. Mikey, isn't that yours?
I think that was yours, John. I'm positive that was yours, actually.
We all kind of came together on that one. I remember.
Did we? Do we want to spin again? We can spin again.
Spin it again.
All right. Watch it be the same thing.
If it is, then we'll know.
Ritual sacrifice.
That was Mikey's, wasn't it?
No, that was mine.
Yeah, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Mikey's just determined to not.
Yeah.
I swear I thought he had more than 2.
All right, so we're going to do ritual sacrifice. So that should be no. That's actually a topic we can. Yeah, that can go on because it's actually. I don't want to go into it right now, but I mean it's actually making a comeback, which is spooky.
Oh yeah.
So, Mikey, John, and Captain in a hot tub.
He's gonna.
So.
Which Mikey?
Who are you, Long One? Do you know us?
Mikey, which one of us is the skipper and which one's Gilligan?
That's a good question.
Well,
I think
John is obviously Ginger.
Oh, right.
Are you? Is there? There's one named Ginger.
Yeah, she's a movie star though. She's real pretty.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that ain't me, babe.
Yeah, it is, babe.
No,
hey,
no.
hey. You are beautiful. All right.
Oh, yeah, she can. Yep. Wasabi's gonna have to get on for that next one. You've totally incriminated yourself.
Yeah, we're gonna hold you to it, Christy. So.
Yep.
Hey, we should get the moderator in the hot tub too.
Oh,
We probably boost our ratings if we bring a female on. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think we'll get our mod in the hot tub too on that stream.
I'll
So.
throw ice in the hot tub.
Well, that's fine. It'll melt because it's gonna be spicy.
Yep.
So, I think John and I will pick out bathing suits for it. That's but here's the thing. If John comes down, we may do a hot tub stream just for shits and giggles. But
At 100.
but 100 for sure. No. 50 followers. We will have a horror movie night together. And we'll do we'll let the chat pick which horror movie they want. We'll narrow it down. And then we'll let them select what they want to watch, and then if we get to 100, for sure we'll do a hot tub stream. So.
Yep, sounds good. I'm down.
All right.
My wife will just have to agree. She'll go work for me. I've got all right. Look, I've where I just started this year until next year. I've only got like 8 hours of PTO or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like it accrues very slowly. I'll totally use that to come down. We might have to do it on a weekend though.
Yeah.
If we can. But but I'll totally do it to come down and we'll have a weekend stream or something.
Yeah, for sure. So, John and I, I think, I'm finally starting to settle down a little bit in life right now because of work and everything. We've had craziness with work. John and I'll probably be getting back into a little bit into gaming too, on top of what we do here. Tuesdays are usually a given. It's just we've been kind of, life's been kind of kicking us in the teeth a little bit for all three of us, I think, and so it's so we're going to be sorry, I'm hearing an echo. So we'll be doing this every Tuesday. So we do our podcast every Tuesday, which is the Blood Brothers Live, and then John and I'll probably be playing some games, and if Mikey's able to, of course he can always hop on too. So, but
we gotta find Jason.
Gotta find Jason. Oh yeah. We still gotta beat that. We're right there.
And chat people can jump on.
Chat people can all. Chat is always welcome to join in. If you all need a Discord invite, we'll go ahead and send that to you if you'd like. And then that is called Captain Bowie Starship. So you guys are always welcome to come in there too. And if you all have stories to tell about your area or anything weird going on, we can definitely bring you on to talk live about it. So, alrighty.
I think it'd be cool to have an episode.
What?
Wait, who is what, Mikey?
Who are the new followers again tonight?
Well, let's see here. Tonight we have the Long One. We have, let's see, Machu Picchu is a first-time chatter, and then we had, trying to go back.
Thank you all for coming and joining us, hanging out with us.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it really means a lot. And then we had Survival Amazon 88. So thank you all for coming and hanging out with us tonight. So this has actually been for being a month off, it's actually been pretty great. It's to come back and have you all hanging out with us and interacting. So
that's pretty good. We can pick up people if only we could retain them.
Well, I think they joined because we stopped streaming. They're like, good God, they shut up. Maybe if we. so, alrighty. Well, going around, I'll just say, have a good night. Thank you all, and take care of yourself. Take care of your physical health, your mental health, and times are tough right now. Seems like the world is getting worse out there, and things are sucking more and more. But I promise you, if you go out there and you try to find the bright side of things, you will find it. I know it seems bleak, but I promise you it's kind of like folklore. It's sometimes it's a little bit sensationalized, and oftentimes there's a lesson in the story. So,
Indeed.
Mikey, you got anything?
Yeah, mute John. Hurry.
All right. Well, John.
I'm back. I'm right there with you, Doug. Everybody, take care of your mental health, and if you feel like you need to talk to somebody, always reach out. There's somebody has been where you are to some degree. Probably not gone through exactly what you're going through, but you're never alone. There's always somebody who will listen and care. So I think that's a big deal right now. I think there's a lot of craziness going on, especially in the United States, but it's not as nearly as bad as they want to make it out to be. There's still a lot of good people and people that care. So always try to choose the positive road. Try to find the bright side and be positive and just enjoy life. Because I mean, shit, man, who wants to live a crazy life just being hateful and mean all the time?
Hell yeah.
That just doesn't make any damn sense to me at all. I mean,
You're right. Amen. God bless you. Bless your heart. All right. That's a good way to. Yeah. Good way to end it. So yeah. John was getting right on that.
Things are, you can always make them worse.
Hey, man, that's the truth. That's the truth. All right, so we are going to end the stream, and then I think what we'll do, if you guys want to hang on, just do all that.
Oh yeah.
You got a booby streamer on there.
Thanks.
I'm back. I like that.
Yeah, y'all. So, all right.
We're gonna do that too.
Let's see here. Let's see if we can raid out with someone.
Everyone has a good taste. They just have different flavors. Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh my god.
Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, I do love Final Fantasy Tactics. See, you know, there's me. I'm not looking at the scantily clad ones. I'm looking at Final Fantasy. So, all right. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and end the stream. And if you want to hang on, we'll raid out too at the end of the credits for that too. So we're going to play that scene. No farting, no bullshit. You know, good night.
Good night.